talking to him.
Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's
That's right, I am back, and it's another edition of the Gentile Sports Show. Now, you're probably wondering about this nice orange hat. Well, I'm coming live to you on location from my hometown of LaPorte, Texas. And that nice little belt you heard is from none other than my special guest here today. If you can see his drunk, hung-over, you-know-what, it's my brother, Eric Gentile. Now, yes, ladies, he does look older than me, but I assure you, he is the younger brother. So don't be fooled by that. So, we're going to be discussing the Houston Rockets and their playoffs and how they did this season. And quickly, how did you feel about the playoffs?
The playoffs in general, I thought they went pretty good. Pushing the Lakers to 7 games is obviously good success, especially, Game 5 when Yao went out, Game 4?
Game
3.
Yeah, Game 3.
Game 3, Yao goes out, so we don't have anybody over 7 feet tall. Against when they have 3 people over 7 feet tall. So to be able to push them to 7 games, even after we lost them halfway through the series, I thought that was a very, very good success. The way it ended, I don't think was too great with going to LA and just not showing up.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into more on that later here, but we're going to talk about the Rockets. We might even squeeze in some Astros time. That might be a separate segment, if I can get my words correctly here, because the young man here, he's a golfing enthusiast, and he has to go play some golf. And he thinks he's Tiger Woods, but sometimes he's not, though. But, you know.
White.
That's true. He is white. So, anyways, man, we're going to have lots to talk about here. So, welcome to this special edition with my special guest, my own little brother. And believe me, it will be very, very entertaining. So, make sure you stay tuned. We got lots coming the way. Okay, we got a little bit of a change in plans here. My little brother is not feeling too good. Maybe he ate something. So he didn't feel too well after his golfing session, so it's just going to be me here with the Rockets talk right now. Now, the Rockets, they played a great series, man. They got out of the first round for the first time in 12 years by defeating the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, the only problem is, they ran into the Lakers, who, don't be wrong, they were the best team in the West. But we proved to them that we could hang with the big boys. And that was before even Yao went out. That was even more impressive. The fact that, Game 1 was a great game for these guys. You have Ron Artest took over the games. Those first 3 games, Ron Artest was on fire. He had 21 points in Game 1 on 8 of 15 shooting, 25 points in Game 2, and then also 25 in Game 3. So Artest did his thing for those first 3 games, but then Yao goes down in Game 3, and then after that, it was pretty much a toss-up of what was going to happen. Now, everybody ruled this out. Everybody thought that the Rockets were not going to advance and maybe even take it to 7 games, but in Game 4 is when Aaron Brooks pretty much stepped up, dropping 34 on 12 of 20 shooting, and then Shane Battier unleashing his inner Dookie Blue Devil there, dropping 23 points on 6 of 12 shooting, 5 of 10 from three-point land. The guy could not miss from the floor. Now, yes, maybe it was all the momentum and all the energy of, losing your big man, coming out to prove that you are a better team, and they did that in Game 4. Now, the question was how they would respond in Game 5. Well, unfortunately, that was kind of the trend there after Yao went down. It was great at home, not so great on the road, especially for Aaron Brooks and Luis Scola. Aaron Brooks only had 14 points in Game 5 in LA. Scola only had 12. And then when you had Game 6 back here in Houston, Brooks had 26 points and Scola had 24. So you're thinking, okay, maybe they're going to turn around. Unfortunately, in Game 7, that was not the case. Brooks only had 13 points and Scola only had 11 points for the Rockets, so they just struggled too much from, the Lakers' home court. They just couldn't. Maybe it was the glitz and glamour of Hollywood maybe that got to them, because in Houston you don't really have all that too much. You don't have all the celebrities and stars sitting right by you. Now, I'm not saying that was the cause of it, but maybe they were just a little nervous. These are some young guys, though, man. They just didn't understand, maybe the magnitude, or actually they probably did, but, that's just the way it goes. And Ron Artest, unfortunately, just fell off those final 4 games. He only had 8 points in Game 4, 9 points in Game 5, 14 in Game 6, and only 7 points in Game 7. And not that we needed Ron Artest to score. In a way we did once Yao went out, but, he did great those first 3 games, but once Yao went out, I think he was focusing more on the defensive side of guarding Kobe Bryant and Lamar Odom. instead of worrying about scoring, which is fine by me. Ron Artest is a great player, don't get me wrong. He just could not find a shot. Actually, none of the Rockets could find their shots, especially in LA. They just kept missing shot after shot. Game 7 here, they only shot 36% from the floor, 25% from three-point land, and they had they actually had 16 turnovers, and the Lakers scored 20 points off those turnovers in Game 7, and you can't do that. When you turn the ball over, it's killer. The 2 games in LA, Games 5 and 7, just looking at this right here, I'm looking at 34 turnovers, I believe that is, in Games 5 and 7 combined in Los Angeles, and you definitely cannot do that on their home floor. But then you bring us back home in Game 6, we only had 12 turnovers and shot 50% from the floor, 38% from three-point land. So that's just the way it goes when you don't have that bona fide superstar like a T-Mac or a Yao Ming to take over the game like that. On the road it's difficult for these young guys, but you know what? They got a lot of great experience, and they proved to themselves, more importantly, that they can handle the big stage. Unfortunately, they just came up a bit short, but they pushed the Lakers to the brink, which nobody gave them credit for. And you know what? I'm proud of this team. They did a great job, and so they move on to next year. Now, what's going to happen? Well, there's a lot of ifs in the air. Ron Artest, free agent. Where does he go? Do we try to re-sign him? T-Mac is in the final year of his contract. So do we try to trade him, or do we keep him from that final year? We're pretty much locking up Yao Ming. I've already read articles on that. I think his contract ends at the end of this next season, and they've already talked about giving him an extension. And also Von Wafer is a free agent. Now, that's another young talent that we might want to keep around. We have a great core nucleus, but now the problem is, do we keep it intact, or do we let a few people go? Because, Ron Artest has already said that he wants to stay here, and reading an article, I believe there's only a few options for him, considering, the money and the economic times. I think the only other teams besides Houston are Memphis and Detroit, and I really don't see the Pistons giving Artest a contract after what happened at, the Palace of Auburn Hills, or, the melee at the Palace, what they like to call it, when Artest went to the stands after he got beer thrown on him. So I really don't see him going to Detroit. Memphis is really not that good of a team right now. They're still up and coming, and Ron Artest, I think, is a great fit for the Rockets, so we'll see where it goes. So what do the Rockets do? Hopefully they keep Ron Artest. He was a great aspect and a great addition to this team this year. He helped out these young guys a lot, taught them about intensity. Him and Shane Battier, great defensive tag team on anybody that's great in this league. And T-Mac, what do we do with him? Hopefully we keep him around. If we don't, who's going to want him? Are we going to trade him? Are we going to get something good for him? Or are we going to have to get, just a mediocre player because, T-Mac's not really what he used to be. Organization's already talking about extending Yao Ming's contract, so that's going to happen, so no worries there. Von Wafer is a free agent too. I liked him. He was a very young, good talent for us. Hopefully we bring him back and bring back the Von Hawk, as most people called it, so that'd be great to see around Houston once again. So even though we took the Lakers to 7 games, we unfortunately came up just a bit short, so there's only one thing to do with that Rockets season, and it's do this. It's time to put the season to rest, fellas. It was a great season for us, but unfortunately it just did not go the way we wanted it to. But hey, we get to build for next year, man. Just think about this. If Yao Ming stays healthy and T-Mac is great and we keep him around and we make it far in the playoffs, guess what? And these young guys, they got all that great experience. We're going to be a very dangerous team come next year, so don't sell us out just short yet. So as AC/DC Hell's Bells brings this week's episode to a closing, next week's show we're talking about baseball. That's right, it's coming back in. All the Rockets mania, man. I had to focus on that and the playoffs, but you got the Astros, they're not doing so well, but I'm sticking with my team. The Blue Jays, very surprising. The Yankees and Sox doing what they're doing, and a lot of other things going on that I'm going to try to squeeze in a short amount of time. So once again, coming to you live from my hometown of LaPorte, Texas, home of the Bulldogs. Thank you everybody for tuning in this week. Had a blast. Hopefully next time I'll get my brother to come do this with me. Y'all have a great week, and I'll see y'all next time. See you.